Remember yesterday when I said I'm going to do two different videos because the game should be talked about individually and not just lumped into one video because they're two separate games? Well, kind of regretting that already because now I hope the Mariners can find a way to win game two. And we could just focus on that one and hopefully ignore this disaster that happened this afternoon. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mariners post game recap. As always, before I get started, do me a favor, hit the like button. It helps tremendously. And don't forget to hit subscribe. About 30% of my watch hours on each of these recaps is from people that aren't subscribed. So maybe you like watching it, but you just haven't hit that subscribe button. If you can, it helps me out tremendously. I do apologize if the fan running is distracting. It looks distracting to me looking at it, but it's warm in this room, so I don't want to sweat to death in here right now. So do apologize for that, though, if it is a bit distraction. Maybe for tonight's game, it will be off. You guys didn't click on this video to hear about a fan in the background, though. You want me to talk about the Mariners' very, very frustrating 2-1 loss today to the Colorado Rockies. And listen, another frustrating thing, not only did the Mariners lose to a pretty bad baseball team, but this felt like the more winnable game of the two. Kirby versus Cal Quantrill should be a game you feel pretty confident winning. Mariners offense versus the Rockies offense is a game you should feel confident in. And then game two, Lambert's been pretty solid for the Rockies, not going very deep into games, but has been all right. And Emerson Hancock is, just someone I don't think any of us really fully trust yet in this rotation. Brian Wu made a rehab start today, pitched 3 shutout innings, 5 strikeouts. So hopefully maybe one more start or two, we should have Brian Wu back in the rotation. Not really going to sit here and get too up in arms about Andres Munoz in the 10th inning. I know that's going to be where some people's anger goes to. Charlie Blackmon hits a little infield single that had an expected batting average of .70 with an exit velo of probably 10. Tovar just inside out. So swing it had decent contact, but inside out's one with 2 strikes to right field. And then McMahon just hits a routine grounder that JP kind of bobbles. Not saying Munoz was perfect. You'd like to see some strikeouts there and finish these hitters off. I'm not excusing it, but of all the things that kind of went wrong today for the Mariners, Andres Munoz to me was really not one of he was one of them, but not the main reason. The main reason was the offense today. And it's been much better the last week. I'm not going to hammer him. This recap's going to be a little shorter too, just because it's Sunday and everything. But today's on the offense. Cal Quantrill is not good. Like, the Mariners have been shut out this year or stymied by starting pitchers at times this year. Like I said, been much better the last week or so. So I'm not going to jump too much onto them. They've won 4-5. Win tonight, you win a series. This is why I don't predict sweeps. Even the worst teams are going to get wins somewhere. But if you really want to put a blame on today's game, it's the offense. Like I said, they've been stymied by pitchers this year, but all of them have been pretty quality pitchers. There's been some that are a little more mid than others. Like Cal Quantrill's not good. To let him go 6 shutout innings with 5 walks, 4 strikeouts, and only 3 hits can't happen. And then the one run they do get in extra innings, especially when you're the road team, you're always looking for 2 in extra innings. Because one is just, our team knows what they need. You have the top of the Rockies order, and I know it's not a good lineup, but Blackmon, Tovar, and McMahon are all very capable hitters coming up there. So you needed to add on more in extras. And you needed to bring some of those walks home. It's kind of been what I've talked about with this team a little bit. Now, again, the last week and a half, they've been much better, but just not getting that big hit to drive guys in. Constant base runners in this game and nothing to show for it. I'm not saying they had to hit Quantrill for 5-6 runs, but you get 2 or 3, you win this baseball game. Some base running blunders in the 7th inning. JP gets on with a walk. Julio gets an infield single. Tovar makes a mistake and tries to throw Julio out at first. Truthfully, it was a mistake that ended up hurting the Mariners because if Tovar just eats it, you've got first and second, nobody out. But then JP tries to go to third. You can't make the first out at third. I'm not going to grill JP too much. I get it. The Mariners have struggled to score. If he gets in there and is safe, you probably get a run that inning. But man, just hold up. You got first and second, nobody out. I know they hadn't scored in those situations today. But anyways, JP gets thrown out at third when Tovar throws to first. Then Julio's caught stealing. So some base running mistakes there. And again, just, am I going to rag on them? Not too much. Like, they should be better against a team like that, and a pitcher like that, but they've been swinging the bats pretty well. They've currently won 4-5. And again, I never expect sweeps. The frustrating thing to me more, like if this was the Hancock game, I'd probably go, whatever, bounce back tonight with Kirby. I'm a little bit worried because of the two games that felt like the most winnable. Do I think if the Mariners get swept in the doubleheader, the season's over? No, of course not. It would stink because, again, Colorado's a really bad baseball team. So you would hope that they can find a way to win their first road series tonight, get the win, and then get out of there, win 2 out of 3. And I'm fine with that. That's okay. If you can reverse the script on it and win the game you maybe didn't think they could win, then it's all good. I'd love for them to sweep. Very winnable game here that they didn't win. I'm not trying to just dismiss it. When you get to August, September, you look back on games and you go, okay, were there some early in the year where you could have, as another window pops open on me there, not sure what that was about. Yeah, it's a game you could look back and be like, well, that Rockies game, that Cubs game was ones they could have won for sure. For sure. I'm not trying to just throw it away and say it doesn't matter, but if they can win tonight, I'm fine with it. But yeah, super frustrating. Mariners caught a break in the bottom of the ninth inning with Ryan Stanek on the mound. Jacob Stallings hits what looked to be originally a double off the wall that Dylan Moore brought back. Then on review, a fan reaches over. The fan I think did touch the ball. So there was a lot of thought that it was going to be a home run for Stallings, but the umps ruled fan interference on that, which honestly, when I look at it more, I think was the right call. Now, also the way the Mariners lost the game, I think I'd prefer that have to just been a home run. Mariners Mojo pointed that out on Twitter, and I'm inclined to agree. I think I just would have rather lost on the Stallings home run and not had the false hope at the 10th inning. But I think it was the right call. Listen, do I think Dylan Moore is going to catch that? No. But I do think the fan impeded with Moore's ability to catch the ball. And that's what fan interference is. You're not trying to determine would it have 100% been a catch. You're trying to see if the fan interfered. And I think he did with it. That fan gets off the hook for tonight. I don't know how much Rockies fans are truly invested right now with their start to the season, but certainly he's probably feeling pretty good that the Rockies pulled it out. Let's look at the box score a little bit for the Mariners. We'll wrap this up, and then I'll be back with the game 2 recap tonight. George Kirby, 5 shutout innings, 5 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Thought he was maybe removed a little early, only 88 pitches. Especially in a doubleheader, right? Like, now the rest of the guys that pitched didn't pitch like a ton of pitches. So Thornton, Spire, Stanek, Munoz probably still all available for tonight. I would imagine maybe Stanek is not because he went 2 innings, but Spire, Thornton, Munoz should all be available. Munoz only threw 7 pitches in his 10th inning. So no reason he can't use those guys, but thought Kirby maybe should have pitched the 6th. Listen, he wasn't cruising in the way, like last night, Castillo was just cruising. It felt like he threw 96 pitches. It felt like 65. Kirby did have some base runners, not a ton of hard contact, but I didn't think he was at his best. Now, it's again testament to how good George Kirby is that he cannot be at his best, go 5 shutout innings with 1 walk, 7 Ks. But I thought they could have sent him back out there for the 6th. Not sure if it really changed anything. I know you could go, well, they might have pushed relievers back and everything and pitched differently. And maybe, and I probably would have sent Kirby out for the 6th. Those are just tough things because we don't know what the conversations are in the dugouts. And I promise I'm not trying to just make excuses for it and everything go, well, we don't know. But maybe Kirby felt tired. Maybe there was, who knows? Would I have sent him out there for the 6th? Yes, knowing what I know, I would have maybe tried to get 1 more inning out of him. But when it's all said and done, I don't know how much that really mattered because Thornton, Spire, Stanek all kind of did their jobs. Thornton got in a little trouble, but got out of it. So I'm not sure how much that ended up mattering and how much 1 more inning would have really changed anything. You still would have gone to Stanek and Munoz in those spots in the 8th or 9th. The only difference is maybe it's Spire instead of Thornton in the 7th. So I'm not sure if it necessarily changes anything there with how the game went. And again, bottom line, the offense need to be better. That's why I'm not going to harp on Munoz too much. Listen, a 1-run lead in extras nowadays is a tough thing. In fact, I'm at the point, like, I would have been just happy if the Mariners could have gotten that to the 11th. And again, yes, the Rockies are bad, but if you had Blackmon, Tovar, and McMahon, probably their 3 best hitters, outside of maybe Diaz as well, and Nolan Jones when he's swinging the bat well, coming up. So that's more than capable of squeezing out a run. And it just, happened to be that Blackman's safe on his little infield hit. If he's out there, Tovar ties it. McMahon is probably going to end up being out because JP is not going to try and rush that throw home. So you probably do get to the 11th as long as Blackman's grounder, is hit even a little harder. I mean, you can make case Munoz gave up 2 soft of contact on that one. Let's look at the offense. JP 1 for 3 with an RBI and 2 walks. So, I mean, JP on board 3 times. I will take that every time. The base running mistake was there, although I will go back to that a little bit. I thought Scott challenged the wrong play. So there, I'm going to be critical of Scott. He challenged Julio's stolen base, but not JP's out at third. Now, to be clear, I don't think the JP one would have been overturned. I didn't see any evidence there, but a runner at third, nobody out. I think it's worth a challenge there. It was close enough to see if they find something. Julio was clearly out. That seemed like a frustration challenge by Scott. So I thought that was a mistake there. I don't think JP's would have been overturned, but I think it had a much better chance. But JP on board three times, good. Again, got guys on base today, but I'm beating a dead horse with it. But someone's got to, clear the bases when they're loaded and stuff like that. So just didn't get that big hit today. Julio was 2 for 5. He had another couple fly balls, at least one that off the bat I thought was gone, and they just died in front of the warning track. Remember some of the juice baseballs from last year felt like the opposite a little bit tonight or today. Mitch Haniger 1 for 5. Mitch scuffling a little bit. I would expect to see him get the next game off. I think it'd be smart. Cal 0 for 5. Expect Cal to have game 2 of the doubleheader off as well. Ty was 0 for 3 with a walk. Mitch Garver 0 for 4. Wouldn't mind Mitch Garver getting game 2 off, but DH, he'll probably DH again. I'm assuming Luke Raley will be in for Haniger. Unless you want to have Haniger DH and Garver have game 2 off. You could do that with the day off tomorrow. That's very possible. Josh Rojas 1 for 3 with a walk. Rojas just kind of quietly on base 2 more times. It seems like every box score I look at, Rojas is on base at least twice every game. Dylan Moore 1 for 2 with 2 walks. Demo on board 3 times. Clase, tough game 0 for 3. Wouldn't mind Clase getting the night game off either. I would maybe even put Demo in the outfield. I'd maybe go Demo, Julio, and Luke Raley. Haniger, Garver, DH, whatever you want to do, and go the rest from there. Polanco pinched hit, grounded into a double play. Listen, the base runners were there. I mean, 6 walks, 6 hits. JP also had the RBI in the 10th inning. I forgot to point that out. So they're getting on base, but someone's got to drive in the runs. That's all I can really say about it. Someone's got to come through with the big hit. They've been like I said, they've been doing better in the last week or so. So listen, not frustrating loss. Again, kind of a dead horse for me, but mad. Yeah, a little bit because the Rockies are so bad and that game was so winnable. And I'm nervous with not nervous, but baseball nervous, with Emerson Hancock going in the nightcap here. But, I don't expect sweeps ever. Sweeps are hard to do. And even the bad teams are going to win games somewhere. The Rockies aren't going to finish 4 and 158. Losing the series to them, not good, especially going to Texas against a much better team. I will say that if you drop this series, that's very frustrating because you're back to 10 and 12. You lose some of the good vibes from the last homestand. And then you've got Texas, Atlanta, the Diamondbacks all coming up here. So you're not getting a reprieve. It's not like you can go to Oakland next and bank in some wins there or something. So would like to get the series win here, back to 500, take the day off, and go down to Texas, get the win. I'll be back tonight with game 2 post-game recap. Hopefully we can talk about a W, throw this one out the window. Have a great afternoon, everybody. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Remember to hit that like button, hit subscribe. Also, download the SeatGeek app or go to their website. Use promo code JSTrident. Save yourself $20 off your next purchase. Love y'all. Take care. See you for game 2. Peace. Go Mariners.